You are tuning in to John Pierre and Mary's fun-loving, crazy, and honest podcast.
If it don't smell bad, it must be clean.
Unequally Yoked, where any and every topic, life,
Marriage.
I'll go first because I have something to say.
Uh-oh.
kids, and entrepreneurship are up for discussion.
How does Mary, a pastor's daughter,
And John, a guy who rarely saw the inside of a church growing up, get together
No.
and stay together.
We all have roles.
what does life look like 10 plus years into marriage?
2 kids and trying to run a family business.
How do we keep this nest egg from cracking?
What you mean?
Listen in to Unequally Yoked as we dive in to give a man
Next. And woman's perspective
Somebody back me up on
Nobody.
to all the topics married folks are talking about.
this. Are you ready?
Let's do this, boo. Hey guys, welcome back to episode 4 of Unequally Yoked with John Pierre and Mary.
We are glad to be back again.
Yes, last week we had Elizabeth Cole here, which was super fun.
Yeah, that was really good.
And we talked about design tips and tricks, and we thought it would be a great way to segue into talking about what our business was originally about, which was what?
Flipping.
Yeah,
We did do a show on it, so
we did a
I
show.
think it's pretty cool that we get a chance to talk more specifically about flipping and how we got into it, what it's about, and we're excited to get going on that one.
There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. You know, we had Going for Sold, which really, you guys don't know this, but we had only done, when we shot the pilot, we only flipped 3 houses at that point.
Yeah.
So we were newbies in the game. And now I don't even know how many houses we've done now. We should have kept count.
Yeah, but we didn't. But we've done a lot.
We've done a lot. And again, we're not saying that we're expert at everything. So luckily we were able to bring on some partners and bring on some friends that know a little something about flipping houses.
Indeed. And he is here.
He's here.
Live in the flesh.
Yes.
Mr. Alan Ekpenyong.
Yes, Alan, DJ Horn.
Good
Good morning, guys.
He's good morning.
Good morning.
morning.
So such an authoritative,
morning.
good, strong, deep voice.
Yes, they're gonna love his. But they're like, wait, who
Who is
that?
this? Who is
He's
this
the
guy?
married. Don't. He's
Glad
the
to be
married.
here. Glad to be here. Glad
Thank
to
you
be
for
here.
coming, Alan.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
man.
For you guys, anything.
He's
Oh
the
yeah,
best.
So just like Mary said, we have partnered with you. You actually helped us. We got together and partnered on our second flip.
Yes.
Which ended up being a great buy and sell, right? And now you have kind of taken your own journey. You're not only just flipping, but you're also getting into the whole building a rental portfolio as well. So we want you to drop some knowledge on us and the people. It's always
Yeah.
for the people.
Well, where'd you like me to start?
See, I have notes and questions, but John, he don't he goes off the cuff. I'm just typing up things for no reason.
I did, for the record, let it be known that I did read all the notes.
When?
Like 10 minutes ago.
Wow.
See?
No respect here.
Okay. So in that case.
But let's just start. I just want to start from the beginning.
Okay.
How do we know Alan? How did we decide to partner with Alan? And then let's start there.
All right. Go ahead, sir.
How we know
Well,
you?
How do we know you?
Oh God. So I knew Mary first. Let's say
Thank you
that.
for my credit.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Thank
knew
you,
Mary
thank you.
first many years ago.
Yes.
Cool person. I'm not gonna go into the whole before she married John, but I was one of the people she told she would marry John before she even married John. So,
Got
that's
him.
that's a different topic. Speaking things into existence.
We'll get into
you know what I
into
mean?
Mary's
So,
psychic abilities.
Okay.
on
but
the
yeah.
next one.
So I've known both of you. I met John, of course. I've known John, but of course met him after.
Yeah.
After you guys got married
Yeah.
officially.
Yeah.
But I've always known John
Yes.
from
But you did
photography,
right?
you know.
because that's what I was gonna say. You did our engagement photos.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
shot our wedding
Exactly.
11 years ago.
So I would that's where I was segueing into. So it made it
Yeah.
as far as agreeing to partner with you guys. That transition was very easy because
Yeah.
of that
Yeah.
work that we had done together prior.
Yeah.
My last photography job was with John.
That's
Wow,
right.
That's
You know,
right.
And
so I stopped shooting after I shot with John in Malibu.
That's
shooting
right.
a wedding in
Wow.
Malibu.
That's right.
That was my last photography job.
And you guys also partnered. You had a photography
We did
space
see-
together.
Yeah, we had-
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. So there's
A history
there's plenty
there.
of reasons. There's a
Yeah.
lot of history, good history at that.
Yeah.
We almost drowned
Wow.
We
in a
almost
hurricane
did
going to a wedding reception to shoot.
Wow.
So we've got good history. So
Man, that's
you know,
almost forgot
agreeing
about
to
that.
work with you guys was I mean, there was not an ounce of doubt that it would work out.
But
You know
it
what I
can
mean?
get tricky. Like
So-
we know people, we know everybody knows someone, but how do you know, especially when it comes to flipping houses and money, which is really I feel the deterrent that people have with flipping houses is the intimidation factor of the money. How do you say, okay, we've almost drowned together in a hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
We've done photography. I shot your wedding. You've basically been a part of our love story,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But then how do you say, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this. They're on their second flip house. They don't really know anything. I'm new to it as well. Did you just say, forget it?
Well, I mean, I'll talk about John. John, although he was new to flipping, was pretty knowledgeable as far as he's pretty handy. So it's
Yeah.
like working with somebody who's handy. He can look at something and tell you how much it's going to cost to fix if he can't do it himself.
Yeah.
Which
'Cause
we're
we
going to get
know
into that
yeah.
with the first
yeah.
flip.
Yeah.
So that part, you feel a little bit more secure in doing
Yeah.
a job, knowing you're not going to lose a lot of money. But my thing is, if you're going into a project thinking I'm going to lose money first as your first thought, then you're going about it wrong. You shouldn't even be doing it
Yeah.
because the whole real estate game is an investment anyway. So
Right.
going in, you should expect to not get what you're
Right.
you're not going to get what you're projected to get every time. You may
Right.
exceed it or you may go below it.
Yeah.
So it was easy, but just working with him, I mean, working with him, and I'll go back to photography again. It was easy to work with him in photography. So
Well, y'all have the same kind of personality, too.
Correct, that
Very
too.
laid back.
exactly, it's
Yeah.
just less headache, and it's like they say. There's a saying that says, "How you do anything is how you do everything." So the way he worked in photography, I'm pretty sure he was going to do the same thing in real estate. So that was
Man,
easy switch.
Can we put
Yeah.
that quote
Yeah,
up? Because
that
that
sounds
was
good. How you do anything is
It's
how you do everything.
everything.
I like
Yeah,
that.
so-
That's next level right there. That's next level.
So that was an easy transition for me working with him. So
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, and I love the point that you made about if you think that you're going to get into this, like the first thing is money, right? And you
Yeah.
can talk about our first flip. We lost.
Yeah, we lost money on our first flip. Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So what was I mean, I cannot tell y'all how many questions I get about flipping. Everybody's like, I want to get into flipping. I
Right.
want to get into flipping. So what would you guys say when you decided to get into flipping?
Yeah.
What was on your mind? Like, what were the
I
first
just-
things that you did?
Yeah, I just thought that like we saw it on HGTV. We were like, hey, we can do that. You know what I mean? I was looking to do something that would be more personally fulfilling and more. I would get more satisfaction out of life doing it. And so when we got into it, the biggest part of it was nerves. Going back to that story, it took us 6 months
Yeah.
to finally pick a house, right? And so when we
Because we
did,
all think there has to be the perfect house, and again, watching TV, you think you have something in your mind, and so
Right.
you were looking for that something.
yeah,
right?
and the something doesn't exist. That's the bottom line is the something doesn't exist.
Yeah.
In the end, you have to take the mind frame, and I like that saying you just said. That was fantastic. Another one I think really applies to the whole real estate game is there's no losses, just lessons, right? Like
Exactly.
you're gonna lose sometimes, but if the bigger part of that is, do you learn from it? And if you learn from it, then it only sets you up to be successful on the next venture. And so that first one was a loss, but we learned so much
Right.
that it ended up going into the second one with you.
Right.
It ended up being a huge profit.
Huge
Right?
Exactly.
win. Did that one
Exactly.
go under contract? We had like what 30
3 days.
showings.
Yeah, it was like 3 days.
3 days
30
under
showings,
contract.
Like 10 offers.
yeah, something
Yeah.
something
And-
ridiculous.
Yeah, and so I think we ended up making a huge profit on that one.
Yeah.
And that was the second one.
That was the second one,
So-
and it was my first. So imagine, like, oh, this was easy.
Is it?
you know. But of
We want
course, I
the
didn't
lower
come in
end.
with that mentality. I
Right,
mean,
right.
I've sold and
'Cause you're a
bought
real-
homes
you're a
and-
realtor
yeah.
also,
I'm,
right?
I'm a
I
real
was
estate
gonna say
agent,
that.
so
Yeah.
kind of like you are, John.
Yeah.
So but another saying. Well, I'm just gonna track back again. Another saying that makes it a lot easier, or makes it a little bit easier to go into, or making a decision to actually start flipping is there's never been a house that's been built that never sold.
That's right.
John says that too.
They
Yeah.
all
So-
sell.
But in flipping, it's
In
like
flipping,
it's a matter of
it's
when
a matter
it's
of
gonna
when
sell.
it's going to sell.
Yeah.
You know, and if you do your due diligence on the front end, then and typically you'll make out good, except unless something catastrophic happens, like the
Yeah.
house foundation just collapses from under it or anything crazy like
Yeah.
that. But I mean, for me, I just like the transition, and the purpose for me is, we both have kids, it's doing something that you can eventually grow out of or grow with and leave behind,
Right.
The
Right.
legacy and
The
wealth
legacy,
and
you
all
know?
those things. Yeah.
So
Well, talk about the due diligence, and as you're talking, I'm thinking about the questions that I constantly receive. And guys, don't think that I'm ignoring you. It's just I've been waiting for this episode to ask your questions that you want to know about. And when you talk about the due diligence, because both of you guys are real estate agents, and I think that that's key. Do y'all think that it's easier, or it was an easier transition because you are realtors and you kind of know the housing market really well?
I would say yes, because as an individual who's not licensed, although they have access to, reaching out to somebody like myself or John to ask those questions, we can look up right away. We can look it up right away and tell.
Right.
For example, you find a flip, you can go into that neighborhood and see what the days on the market for the properties are, which for me is very important.
Yeah.
If I see a potential flip, and I look on the market and the homes are sitting for 90 days before they sell, I typically won't want to go after that flip.
Yeah.
If they're somewhere between 1 day, a 0 to about 30 to 40 days, then I think it's a good flip. Especially if you're going to be renovating and making it look pretty. So it's
Yeah.
probably going to go lower than what those average days you see are.
Yeah.
So being real estate agents, I think we have that advantage to be able to see that and then make a move on the property quicker, as opposed to
Otherwise,
somebody
if-
who's not.
Right. I was gonna say, if you're
Right.
not a real estate agent, what are the fees associated with that? Like, there's a cost
Yeah.
savings to you guys being real estate agents too,
Right.
right?
I was gonna say, like, you have the element of just being able to access information quicker, which is fantastic. The other part of it is that you save money, right? And so
Exactly.
in the flipping business, that's all part of like expenses are what it is, and
Yeah.
Every penny.
and so it's like, one of the things that we really had to figure out and focus on is that flipping is just about a business investment. It's just a business. So doing the due diligence, figuring out exactly how much you can buy this house for,
Right.
right? Buying it for the right price, making sure you know what you're gonna have to renovate it for, and knowing exactly how much that renovation costs.
That's an intimidation for a lot of
Yep.
people too.
Yeah.
Is walking into a space and not knowing how much and
It's gonna
what
cost,
it's going
right.
to cost.
Right.
Mhm.
Yep. And then the last part is knowing what you can sell the house for.
Right.
And if you
So
don't
running comps.
Right, running comps and understanding that this house will sell for this much
Correct.
in this amount of time if we do this.
Right.
Right. And so the cool thing that we learned on our first flip was we bought it for too much. We renovated it too much,
Yeah.
and we thought we could sell it for more than we thought we could
more,
sell it
right.
for.
And it
right?
wasn't. I don't mean this in any disrespect, because it was a beautiful house. I mean, we actually really loved that house for
Yeah, it
ourselves.
was great.
But there wasn't anything unique about that house.
Right.
Like, it felt. I don't want to use the word generic.
Well, yeah, I think we didn't
didn't-
give it a unique feel. Like,
Right.
we had
Right.
the opportunity
Right.
to, but we didn't.
Yeah,
Right.
because we were
Right.
playing it safe,
Right.
And
Right.
because you just don't know what you don't know, and I think that's why you took that initial leap. Was, you know what, if we're gonna lose, at least we lose and learn something.
Right.
And
Right.
versus, there are these other, I guess, programs out there that people can sign up for.
Right.
But in your mind, you were like, what?
Yeah, it's like if I ended up talking to a guy who owns a We Buy Ugly Houses franchise in
Right.
Arizona, and he was like, "Listen, you can pay one of these programs and have someone teach you for $30,000 or
Right.
$10,000, and then you still haven't done the flip, and you have a lot of knowledge, but you still haven't
No
done
flip.
it,
Right.
right? But why don't you just jump in and be prepared to lose the same amount of money
Right.
you were going to pay somebody else?
Exactly.
Then you've done the flip, and you've learned a lot on the job, and then you have a house that you've actually done,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
So that ended up making a lot more sense for us, right?
Right.
Experience. You can't. I mean, you literally can't pay for experience.
Right.
You literally just have to do the work.
Yeah.
Just like homework, it's about doing the work and learning from those experiences.
Yep.
So we've done 4 with you, right?
Correct. I believe so. Yes.
Which one was your favorite? I have a favorite. You think about it, it takes you longer to
Wow.
think because you look. Here's the list that you didn't read. Here are the
So-
4 that we've done with
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
So for me, the best, I would say, I'll start with the best,
Okay.
which would be Madison's Crossing. And the only reason I say that
Oh.
is because that one was very quick.
Yeah,
It was.
It was very quick, and it was, I believe, the largest profit
yeah.
out
that
of all
was
of
a
them.
ghost property. I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, we
That finished.
did the
that was
renovation
that was
quick.
start and finish in less than 45 days, I believe.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
From start renovation
to close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the
that's
sale.
unbelievable.
Yeah. So that one is the best, I say,
Yeah.
Okay.
for profit reasons, of
Okay.
course. My favorite is the first one.
Really?
Believe it or not,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I'm shocked.
Lawn Haven is my favorite.
Why?
It felt like it was more. It was the start of something
It was exciting.
magical. It was
Yeah.
exciting. It was excitement was there. So after that one, it was like every other one was like, okay, we got another flip. Let's knock it out.
Yeah.
Wow.
That first one, I don't think I almost went there every day when I didn't really have to. You know?
Yeah.
And then I got to do floors. You know, we did the floors in the utility room.
Right, right.
John and I did that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's more memory there in that
Yeah.
one. You know,
Yeah.
it,
And we're
was-
gonna
it was
put up
more
these
it was
houses
more
for them to see.
hands on. You know,
Yeah.
in that one. So, and then we converted a room. Like I remember
garage,
everything,
that
that garage
garage,
to
yeah.
a room to like a
Bedroom,
bedroom or game room area.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was just more. It was more.
That,
feels like
that
it was more-
uh,
You know, hands on that one.
Yeah.
Like more
And it was the first experience.
first experience.
Right.
It would
It's
flip.
and it's like we've
experience.
been all over Houston. That was Hiram Clark.
That was Hiram Clark.
Yeah.
Correct.
and then Madison's Crossing is what?
Tom Ball.
Tom Ball.
Tom Ball,
Yeah.
and then Soledad.
That's in
in-
that's Houston,
That's like
Sugarland,
called?
Houston
Okay,
area.
Sugarland.
Yeah, yeah. That's like in the Sugarland.
Yeah.
Well, it's more like almost A-Leaf. It's almost
Hey,
like
well, it's the other
it's-
close
What
to
school
A-Leaf.
Yeah,
district?
Yeah,
It's Fort Bend.
yeah. It's
Oh,
Fort Bend.
that's
yeah.
what I thought it was. I was going to say Fort Bend.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Easy 3, which we can't pronounce the name. We've named it Easy 3. Ike
Wurzel.
Wurzel
Ike
Yeah.
Wurzel.
was downtown.
That was close to
Well,
downtown.
yeah, it's north.
it had a
north,
little
north.
view,
Yeah.
like right
A
over
view
the
downtown over
downtown.
that, by the
Right
tracks.
over the
Right next, to
trees.
the, right next to the
Yeah.
to the light
To
rail.
the
and
light rail
everything.
track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we love that house. I know that was your
Love-
favorite.
Some
Ooh.
that was your favorite?
Okay, so I was gonna let John go. Go ahead, because I
Oh.
like yours is all about the feels.
Mm.
You know, mine's gonna be about the look. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
like yeah. No, I mean for me the first one was definitely the my favorite. Not only because we got to do it with you, but also because after coming off of having a loss,
Right.
having a
right.
profit,
Having
right?
a profit.
Like
Yeah.
making it feel like you overcame something, the
Exactly.
hurdles of what the flipping business is, because
Exactly.
it happens to everybody, right?
Exactly.
Or maybe it doesn't happen to everybody. It happens to a lot of people,
Right.
Right. And so to come from a loss and feeling dejected and feeling like we're doing the wrong thing, to coming across and working with someone that we love and trust,
Right.
and then it working out well, like making money, right? So
Yeah.
that to me that was the best one.
I'm glad that you guys think about things from the money perspective, and like my feels are different feels. So for me, Easy 3, I'm still getting comments about that house. My NO for show house, okay, that was on Going for Soul.
Yeah, that was
That was the feels for me, because I was like, this is a shotgun house. Like, John,
Yeah.
this is my NO house. Like, I have to do this house.
I mean, I agree with you on that one, but of course through Phil's, because
Yeah.
that was pretty much, that was almost from the ground up.
Yeah, it
'Cause
was.
that was
Huge
completely gutted.
renovation, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
That
And
was
I
fun.
can see that. So,
And
Yeah.
that was
but-
when we did and it wasn't like a conventional flip, right? Like normally
Correct.
whenever we do it, we try to go for houses that have 2 bathrooms.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right, we try to
exactly.
go for the house that has a garage.
That one was a risk.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
really was. It was 3 bedroom, 1 bath, and it was really small on the square footage,
Right.
but it felt so much bigger once we knocked that wall down.
And it actually, it was, and it's funny you say that risk wise. It was actually the longest on the market that we've done together.
That's
Yes,
right.
it
Yeah.
was.
That's right.
But I
And
think
we
we kind
but
of knew
when,
that.
yeah, we knew that going in.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
but
that due
we
diligence
anticipate-
that y'all were talking about.
We knew that going
Yeah.
in, so there was no panic, people, at all.
And then the other one is Soledad, which I feel like from watching people's comments was like a fan favorite.
Right.
I don't know what it was about that blue. But that house. So let's talk about the feels on that house. Let's give the backstory to that house.
Mary probably thought I would say that was my favorite,
I
but
thought it.
yeah.
How dare you?
and the reason is that one is actually, that was my mother's house. That's the home that I grew up in.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, watching that transform, it was great. I'm just going through, and then
He
of
said,
course.
forget about the house I grew up in. I like
Right,
the house
right.
we made the most
You-
profit on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You would think I would pick that
I
one,
almost
but you
fell
know,
out my chair.
but you know, half of that money was my mama's, so you know, she got a bulk of that.
Hey.
So, but
Hey.
but yeah, it was. I think that one too was
love
amazing
the
transformation. The
bathroom in that one
bathroom was.
That
Let's just say
bathroom
this: when it
was
was done, my mom actually did not want to sell, but I didn't tell you guys that.
Really?
No, she told me that.
Oh, she
actually.
told you. Okay,
sure
there you go.
did.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
But
she
it was too
told
late.
me.
I was like, we bought your house already.
Yeah. We gonna give her this one. We
Yeah.
got time for that.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
but
have to get out.
that one was another one that we had
Yeah.
almost 20 or more offers and showings,
Yeah.
and it went
Yeah.
higher.
It went higher than
anticipated.
anticipated. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is
It
great.
Definitely.
Yeah, that
Crazy
blue door.
enough is we I actually listed the home probably 2 years prior, something like that.
Ah.
Really?
At a like 100 and I want to say 120 something thousand. You can probably see the history. No showings.
Wow.
Really?
Not a single showing.
And then
Right.
what did we end up selling it for?
170 something.
Yeah, I was on 170.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was fantastic.
Yeah, that was great. That
That
was
was-
great. She was happy.
I'm sure she was.
She didn't want to leave. As a
She
matter
didn't
of
leave,
fact,
right.
after closing, we talked about this, Courtney and I, the other day. After closing, she kept going back to the house to check the mail, like literally.
Really?
Like,
Mom,
you don't live
you
there
don't
no
own that
more."
house
Oh,
anymore.
my
Like
God.
you don't
Yeah.
do that. But you got to understand that was her first home.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
That was the first home that she bought when she
Wow.
came here. You know, so from the apartment we used to live in, that was actually the very first home she owned. First and only
Really?
home she owned. So
It was a great house.
Sentimental.
All bedrooms
Yeah.
up. I mean, it was tricky with the kitchen being in that corner.
exactly in the
Yeah.
corner.
It was an odd layout, but somehow it worked out
It worked.
because it's like it all flowed together. It was
Right.
literally an L shape.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That was, remember, the house with the mirrors in the living room. And yeah, I'm sure
And
everybody.
the standalone tub.
And where
and
John
the
fell through the
stand-up
ceiling.
shower, and I
Yeah.
fell through the ceiling.
Hilarious.
And we all. That house was great. It came out. It looked beautiful. So that was
Yeah.
another success story.
Yep.
But what made you want to flip houses? I mean, you're a realtor, you're a photographer. You're like John. You have like, I mean, a million jobs.
Right. Right. Always have.
Yeah. but why flipping houses?
I don't want to say boredom, but just the buying and selling part, you know, helping a client get a home or, you know, helping them sell their home. That's your standard real estate
Right.
job, you know.
Right.
That's what when you think of a real estate agent, that's what they do. But as you know, like you said, I have a million jobs. I always like to explore every realm of whatever it is that I do.
Yeah.
So
To the fullest.
exactly, you know, just try to conquer the maximum of whatever it is, whatever profession it is
Yeah.
that you do. So, you know, that was really it. I mean, of course I knew what profit margin could be, you know, when you do these flips, and how quickly you can acquire liquid capital
Yeah.
to move into other stuff
Yep.
doing flips. So that was the main reason, you know.
Yeah.
And at the time I was actually working for a builder, if you
I
recall.
remember.
So
Oh, yeah.
And those hours were not
right. So
that-
it's like
wow.
the plan was to, you know, get this done, start it, grow it, so eventually you can walk away from, you know, the scheduled
Yeah.
office
Man,
time.
I could
You know?
go on about this whole thing.
So,
Just on that
yeah.
alone, because like
So yeah, like you said, I could talk all day
Oh
about
my
that.
gosh.
But
It's
but-
going from-
so that was the ultimate goal, is to be able to walk away from being, you know, being
nine
given
to
a schedule.
fiver.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
9 to 5 per se, even though that's not what I was
It,
doing.
wait, I was
Yeah.
gonna say it
Yours
was
was worse.
It was like, you know, it was like more like an 8 to 7.
Probably more than that, because
Yeah.
there would be times when I would call you and you'd be working with
Exactly.
clients
So-
at 8 o'clock.
and
you know what I mean?
not complaining, because
No,
it
no.
was a blessing to have that, because it was, you know, a decent paying job. We're not gonna talk about money. So, but yeah, I mean, the ultimate goal for me is just to be able to have me and my family just move and do whatever it is we want to do without any restrictions
Yeah.
or having to answer to anybody.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
especially
which is why now
especially
you're in your rental portfolio, which is what I was going to bring
Right.
up. Yeah.
especially with the kids. That's who
Yeah.
I have in mind every single time. You know, when
Yeah.
I'm doing anything I, you know, decide to go into, I'm thinking about, you know, Chloe and Zoe.
Yes.
Our wives.
So-
Gotta have our wives.
So
Yeah.
No,
So-
I'm with you on that. And that was one thing I'll talk about, because you've got into the whole rental market now, right? That's kind of where you're focusing your energy. So I'll let you talk about that, but I do want to track back. And for the record, y'all, this is going to be longer than the 30-minute podcast.
I'm
because
trying to keep them in.
She's trying, but
I'm
there's
trying.
so many things I want to
Yeah.
talk about because I
Yeah.
think they're huge and I think they're really important when it comes to deciding that you're going to step out of your comfort zone and get into something that is going to be your passion or your focus or your why, and knowing how many things that are hanging in the balance whenever you decide to make that choice. But going on into the rental market, like talk to us about your experience with that, how you're getting into it, what your goal is, and what is the difference between doing a rental market portfolio versus flipping.
Okay. Yeah, I'll actually start with that question. So the flip, when you're doing a flip, it's more like that's a quick. It's a quick gain per
Yeah.
se. It's a one-time thing.
Yeah.
So you buy the house, you renovate, sell it, you flip it, you get the money, and that's it. So what do you do next?
Yeah.
You got to go find another one. But ultimately, you want to be able to have that rolling. You know, where it's passive. You know, it's a residual that comes in, and the only way to do that with flipping is if you have somebody that's constantly feeding you, a
Properties.
great property that's gonna flip and give you that,
That
you know,
rollover.
that rollover that you need.
Yep.
But that's almost impossible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's just
Especially
too many breaks in between.
too many breaks in
Yeah.
between, and if you're somebody who's new to flipping, like kind of we were, or
Yeah.
you have to wait for one to actually close to move
buy
on
the
to the other
next.
one, because you
Right.
can't, because then capital becomes an issue.
Right.
Getting that liquidity or not wanting to have to go get a loan to do this, and then it becomes all messed up.
Right.
So, but multifamily, apartments, duplexes, triplex, whatever. If you get one of those, whether it be long term, traditional or short term rental, there's always somebody in there.
Yeah.
And I'll use an example. If you have a 5-unit,
Yep.
and you're let's make it simple. They're all paying $500 a month. You have a 5-unit. If one person leaves, you still have 4. That's creating income that takes care of the expenses of that building.
Yeah.
As opposed to having a single family home. If that person leaves, you just went from $500 a month to 0.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yep.
Now you got to start
All
spending
over.
on
Yeah.
marketing
Yep.
to list it again, spending to clean it up and get it
Clean it
ready
up.
for the
Yeah, I
next
was gonna get
person.
it ready, 'cause
if
they
it's not,
tear
if
it
it's
up.
not, if it's not leased out right away, you got to clean it again.
Yep.
Keep cleaning. All the things that you have to do until you get somebody else in there.
Right.
So that's
And-
why,
Yeah. And then
I
in the
think-
meantime, you're not making money. At
and
all.
you're not making money.
'Cause you're having to
Exactly.
pay for it,
You're
the
having to pay
mortgage.
for these things,
Yeah.
and nothing's coming in from
Yeah.
these buildings. So I like to say, it's great in, what I've read and studying multifamily. Have all your single families under one roof. It's a lot easier to manage too. We have a couple single families, one in Orlando and one here as well, but it was a great deal that we couldn't pass up.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure.
So, because our goal is the plan is not to have single family homes everywhere. If you want to do that, fine, but I think that's a crazy thing to do,
hard,
because
man.
running around managing, this property here and there. But if you have it all under one roof, you make that trip, take care of everything at once, and you're out of there.
And you're out of there.
Yeah.
If somebody leaves, the rest of it takes care of that until you fill that spot again.
Yeah.
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 And I don't know how much time I have, but
You're
with the
good.
pandemic going on right now, I think the play is going to be rental
Yeah.
Yeah.
moving forward.
Airbnb too, because hotels are struggling. Like hotels are having capacity limits and stuff like that, and people are still traveling.
Exactly.
So they need somewhere to get into it.
And here's the beauty about that. With traditional rental, you have people who have there's the COVID clause now where you don't have to pay your rent until the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a landlord, you can't collect until 2021, if that even happens.
Right.
With short-term rental, Airbnb, like you just mentioned, they pay you before they show up.
Right.
You don't have to worry about that.
Right. Yep.
And I'll leave it at that.
That's a good place to stop.
Yes. So
Yeah.
we're gonna reset.
Yeah.
We're gonna go on to the next phase, but this has been fantastic.
So it's
thus
almost
far.
like a part 1, part 2.
This is almost part 1, part 2. Yeah. But this
We'll
is gonna
see
be
how
part
much,
2.
because y'all got to feed me some lunch.
We do. We got.
Okay,
Yeah.
but we're gonna be right back.
Right
We're
back.
gonna reset. That's great. What I want to talk about next is the money part of it.
Okay.
Like, because you mentioned the word